Good afternoon. My name is Haley Goddard, and I would like to welcome graduates, parents, staff, and those watching at home to our 2020 Royal Live Oaks graduation ceremony. And I would just like to thank the school and everybody for what they did for me to help me graduate and get me this far. And now I would like to talk to y'all about my high school experience with this school, which has been very good. A lot of people have helped me personally, and the school has helped tremendously with personal family stuff, and it's been very easygoing in my experience. And I would just like to thank y'all and welcome y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy the ceremony. So now I would like to introduce Armando Nunez for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Now please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. And now please welcome Sadie O'Connor for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Dear Father, thank you for allowing us to be gathered here today to celebrate the class of 2020 as we mark the end of our journey at Royal Live Oaks Academy. We want to thank you for the experiences and memories that we have been afforded throughout our time in school. This is the end of our chapter, but our story will continue. I ask that you bless each of my classmates tonight as we move on in our unique journeys, challenges, and celebrations in life. Give those who plan to pursue further education the knowledge they need to be successful in their chosen fields and the wisdom to apply their knowledge to real life. Give those who enter the workforce the determination to be successful and a sense of what is right and good. Give those who plan to enter into military service the courage and strength they need to serve our country and global citizens with integrity and honor. And lastly, I ask that each of the graduates of our class of 2020 make a significant contribution to the communities and lives that they touch. Guide us down the right path and grant us faith and courage to strive for and to achieve greatness in life. Amen. Querido Padre, gracias por permitirnos reunirnos aquí hoy para celebrar la clase de 2020 cuando marcamos el final de nuestro viaje en Royal Live Oaks Academy. Queremos agradecerle por las experiencias y recuerdos que nos ha brindado durante nuestro tiempo en la escuela. Este es el final de nuestro capítulo, pero nuestra historia continuará. Te pido que bendigas a cada uno de mis compañeros de clase y a mí a medida que avanzamos en nuestros viajes únicos, desafíos y celebraciones de la vida. Brinde a quienes planean continuar su educación el conocimiento que necesitan para tener éxito en sus campos elegidos y la sabiduría para aplicar sus conocimientos a la vida real. Brinde a quienes ingresan a las fuerza laboral, la determinación de tener éxito y una idea de lo que es correcto y bueno. Brinde a quienes planean ingresar al servicio militar el valor y la fuerza que necesitan para servir a nuestro país y a los ciudadanos del mundo con integridad y honor. Y por último, pido que cada uno de los graduados de nuestra clase de 2020 haga una contribución significativa a las comunidades y vidas que tocan. Guíanos por el camino correcto y concédenos fe y valor para luchar y alcanzar la grandeza en la vida. Amén.
Living on purpose. I'm not made for perilous quests, cried Frodo. I wish I'd never seen the ring. Why did it come to me? Why was I chosen? Such questions cannot be answered, said Gandalf. You may be sure that it was not for any merit that others do not possess, not for power or wisdom, or at any rate. But you have been chosen, and you must therefore use such strength and heart and wits as you have. You may recognize that from Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Living on purpose. The first thing I remember wanting to be when I grew up was to be a teacher. I never thought of being a leader, even a singer, even though I sang before I talked and sang in church all the time. I never thought of myself as being a writer. I wanted to be a teacher. I had a purpose. I was brought up to have purpose, drive, the expectation of excellence. I knew I would be a teacher. But I have slowly come to embrace being a leader, a writer, and many other things. Of course, singing is in my DNA. It's the essence of who I am, so there's no question about that one. But being a leader, being the leader of Royal Live Oaks Academy, this isn't something that I thought I would ever become. But you know what? The journey has made me into who I am today, and the pursuits that I've grown into, and the people who've believed in me and told me that I could do what I did not think I could. The journey has made me the person who still remembers with that childlike heart that I will go where there is no easy road. There's a song that I sing that has these words in it. I will go where there is no easy road, leave the comforts that I know. I will go and let this journey be my home. So the question I have for you graduates today, where are you going? Are you going to live cautiously or courageously? I'm challenging you to live at your best, to pursue integrity, to sustain a drive toward excellence. I know it's easier to not live on purpose, to relax in the embracing arms of the average. Easier, but not better. Easier, but not more significant. Easier, but not more fulfilling. I'm challenging you to a life of purpose, far beyond what you think you're capable of living. I know you'll find the adequate strength to fulfill your destiny, your unique contribution to make to this world. You know, it's a terrible thing in life to wait until you're ready. I have this feeling now that actually no one is ever ready to do anything. There's almost no such thing as ready. There's just now. There's just starting. J.P. Morgan said once, many, many years ago, the first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what do I want to make of myself? And what do I have to work with? And what tools do I need to be able to become someone significant? There's only one thing needful, and there's only today in which to do it. Do it, then do it again, and again, persistently, not mindlessly, but with all of the exuberance of an encore. Protestant theologian Frederick Buechner defines vocation, which in Latin means calling, vocare. He defines vocation as, neither the hair shirt nor the soft berth will do. The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. Find the heart of human excellence. Discover a pursuit that absorbs you, frees you, challenges you, gives you a sense of meaning, joy, passion, purpose. Make today not the end of high school, but the beginning of the rest of your life. Now, I have the great honor to introduce to you your salutatorian, Sadie O'Connor. Sadie and I have, we've always had a special connection. It's probably because of music. But I don't know. I guess I see a younger me in her. She has purpose. She knows who she wants to become. And she's gathering all the tools she can to make it happen. She's embracing the journey. And I pray that you embrace the journey with her. Congratulations, the class of 2020.
Here we are today, graduating, but not in the way we all hoped and dreamed of over the years. And that's okay. As the RLOA class of 2020, we have always persevered, especially the ones who have been here since the very beginning. We started off in a small school that looked kind of like a trailer park, but you wouldn't know that looking at us today. We have never let our circumstances get in the way of our successes. We have never let anything hinder our spirits. We are brilliant and strong. We are the future. I know it all sounds a bit cheesy, but it's true. Our futures are so bright that there's no way this small bump in the road could hinder our success. From this day on, we will all begin the next chapter of our life called adulthood. And I don't know about you, but I don't think adulthood is ready for us. Just ask any of our teachers. We're a handful, to say the least. Some of us will go off to college, while some will join the service, and others go straight into the workforce. No matter where we go, I know we'll make a difference, because that's what we do. The class of 2020 has always made a way. We have to give our appreciations to the ones who have always been by our side. Dr. Wicks, Ms. Barr, Mr. and Mrs. Morse, Ms. Trainum, and last but certainly not least, Ms. Moore. These are just a few of the people who have always had our backs and pushed us towards success. If I wanted to name everyone who had helped me get to this point in my life, I'd be here all day. So just know if you had a part in this amazing journey that I am beyond thankful. I promised I wouldn't make this a long speech, but I do have to recognize some very important people to me. Ms. Barr, thank you for never giving up on me no matter how much I got on your nerves. I spent so much time in your office, I'm pretty sure I could have a guidance counselor class credit. You have been the one to always help me with whatever I needed, and without you, I wouldn't be up here giving this speech. I'll never forget your kindness and support. Never stop being the inspiration that you are to so many. Nana, although many of you know her as Miss Davis, the strict lunch lady. Thank you for staying on my case every single day. Thank you for coming to me every time my grade dropped, even by a point. Although I would get annoyed, without your persistence, I wouldn't be up here today. And I wouldn't have the grades I do today. You pushed me to do better than I thought that I could. Thank you for that. I also have to give a thanks to my grandfather. He stepped up and was a father figure to me when I needed one. He didn't have to,
but he's the best father figure a girl could ask for. I was truly blessed with the best grandparents anyone could ask for. And lastly, to my amazing mother, thank you for being the biggest supporter I've ever had. Thank you for always assuring me that I was amazing. You have more confidence in me than I will ever have in myself. Your love and support has gotten me through the years. With all that's happened to us, no one ever expected me to be successful. But here I am today. We did it, Mom. With all that said, class of 2020, let's go conquer the world. Let's go out and persevere like we always do. Let us be the light in the world that has gone dark. We made it, guys, and I couldn't be more proud of us. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rob McBrayer. I've been given the distinct honor this evening, and it's nice to be included in such an austere group. I look forward to speaking with everybody today on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Charter School, Dr. Karen Wicks and her husband Les, the College of Erskine University, we've got, what do I say to a group of young men that are about to launch out into this tinderbox we call society right now? Had a couple of, there's usually good news and bad news. My honor here is to introduce to you Eileen Herrera, who is your school valedictorian. It's a tremendous honor, and she's demonstrated a work ethic that I think is an example that everybody in the class can emulate, and you should. And I hope in 2 or 3 minutes I can stimulate the same kind of desire in you that she has to keep moving, because there's, well, it's good news and bad news. You know, if somebody doesn't tell you the bad news, then they're doing you an injustice. But there is good news. Obviously, you're graduating. You're free now. You're grown up. Congratulations. You get to pay your own car insurance. You get to find your own clothes and pay for them. You got to find a place to live. You know, spread your wings. Good for you. We're happy for you. The future is bright, and because you're in the United States of America, I had a friend in Virginia. His name was Nam Vu. He came from Vietnam, and his family was lucky to get out with their lives. It turns out, we got to be friendly, so we were talking. I said, Nam, what's the difference in education in Vietnam and education here in the United States? He said, in Vietnam, we have 12 grades just like in the United States, but there are no libraries. Really, what do you do when you want to learn something? He said, you go to the big city or you go to the jungle and you find the information. And, well, if it's that sparse and hard to find, then what? He said, well, at the end of the 12th year, there's only one exam for 12 years. It's a final exam. It's pass-fail. If you pass it, you're going to college. That's predetermined. If you fail, there's a stack of rifles out in the backyard. Go pick one. So in the United States, you've got a lot of opportunities waiting for you. Most countries in this country want to come here to be educated, and it's on each of us to keep ourselves educated. Some people think when they graduate from high school, they've reached the pinnacle. I got news for you. It's just getting started. And it's like one man said, sometimes your best isn't good enough, sometimes you got to get better. And as far as the good news, bad news, in World War II, I think it was Creighton Abrams had his 101st Airborne was so strong and so good fighters, they punched through the German lines, and the Germans completely encircled them, and they were trapped. And so the general calls his brass together. He said, fellas, circle up. We've got a situation here. I've got good news and bad news. Which one would you like first? Well, give us the bad news first, General. Okay. You know we're totally surrounded. We're low on ammunition, food, supplies, clothing. The weather is bad, and it's going to get worse, and our suppliers can't get through the German lines to get to us. So, well, that's pretty bad, General. Where do you go from here? What's the good news? He said, well, the good news is, since we're totally surrounded, we can now attack the enemy from any direction we so choose. So that's available to everybody in America. And I would submit to everybody here that your education and your future is based on your readiness to learn and to keep learning. So Ms. Herrera here and some others have set the example. And Dr. Wicks and her husband Les have have burdened themselves with the duty of preparing you for what you're about to step into. Tremendous, tremendous accomplishment. And you guys have seen this school through a lot of changes, I know. So for men and women of your caliber and Jasper County, we see a lot of hope. We see a lot of bright things on the future, and we're looking forward to your making a contribution to the society that we live in. So with that, I'm going to take a second to just introduce you to Miss Eileen Herrera. You already know, beautiful lady, quite an accomplishment, valedictorian. Not to take anything away from everybody else that's made the finish line. It's like my dad told me one time. He said, I was grasping about something. He said, cheer up, son, it's going to get worse. And when I graduated, sure enough, the world didn't care. So we wish all of you well. We wish all of you a bright future. We wish all of you stay safe, stay healthy, and you are our hope. So this country is depending on you. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your graduation. Congratulations again to all you men and women. We're honored to know you.
Okay. Good evening. This is the fire within us. If you were to ask anyone graduating right now what their senior year of high school would be like 6 years ago from today, going through a pandemic would have never crossed our minds. Although our senior year and graduation didn't go as planned, it doesn't belittle the achievements we have accomplished in order to get to this point together. Within a blink of an eye, we were all in high school together. High school was when I switched schools to Royal Live Oaks. Royal Live Oaks is a small school located in South Carolina. It was a fresh start for me. When I first arrived to Royal Live Oaks, I was a handful. Then everyone got to know me, and they helped me mature throughout the years. I remember telling Ms. Barr I wanted to graduate early, and she asked me if I was sure. She would always ask me this because I could lose my #1 ranking position. The plan was to graduate early. I've been saying this since I was in middle school, so I was determined to do so. I became a junior after taking my first semester as a sophomore, and I haven't looked back since. Once settling in with the class of 2020, who are now graduates, everyone has a friendly face. Everyone is friendly to one another. Our Royal Live Oaks has some of the smartest individuals I have ever came across. This is by far the largest graduation from Royal Live Oaks. I am proud to see each and every one within this class growing to be the smart and talented young people I know they are becoming. I know it wasn't easy. I know it wasn't the easiest route for everyone. Some will continue their educations at colleges and universities. Some will join the military, and some will join right into the work field. But regardless of where you are and where each one of you are heading, this is the end of one chapter and the start of a new one. Our class has been through way more than we were ready to take in. One day, it was our last day seeing each other at school, and we didn't even know it. COVID-19 came and made history for all of us. Class of 2018 and 19 were able to walk across the stage with one another, and class of 21 will possibly be able to do the same. Class of 2020 was not able to do so. It has truly been a journey for all of us. I would like to first thank God, of course. I never would have made it without him. Then I would like to give a thanks to all the Royal Live Oaks staff. You are the reason I am who I am today. A special thank you to those teachers that we made special connections with. Those who helped when we struggled, and they know exactly who they are. Another special thanks to Ms. Barr, because she has been the most uplifting and positive guidance counselor I have ever met.
Literally everything we have accomplished has been because she has helped and guided us through it. I would also like to say thank you to a particular boy named Jarek Isham. Jarek is one of the few people that attend Royal Live Oaks. We have been high school sweethearts since my freshman year. Throughout these 3 years, he has seen me grow into the beautiful woman I am becoming today. Never would I have thought in a million years I would have met such a genuine and kind young man like him. Whenever I doubt myself, he was there. He lifted my head. While I was having all the mental breakdowns because school was getting too frustrated, he was the one that listened to me. Thank you, Jarek, for being you. Last but not least, thank you to my family. I made sure to strive so high for you all, because you all are my rock. I actually have a new member to my family. It's my little nephew. He is the most precious little person I have ever seen. My sister is a great mother to him. My sister always tells me, "I think you're amazing," which always touches my heart. My mom has been the reason I worked so hard. I wouldn't know how to function without her. Te amo, mami y papi. Gracias por todas las bendiciones. This is the fire within us. We are now graduates of 2020. I will be continuing my education at College of Charleston to receive my PhD degree in mathematics. Congrats to all class of 2020. I hope you all strive to become the best you can be, and thank you.
Good evening. I'm excited to be here today to present the Teacher's Choice Award in conjunction with the Jasper County Chamber of Commerce. This award is presented to a college-bound senior and selected each year by the staff at the school. This year's award recipient will be receiving a $500 scholarship. Our Teacher's Choice Award winner embodies so many of the traits and characteristics we strive for our students to have when they leave Royal Live Oaks Academy. This student is hardworking, respectful, and always willing to lend a hand. Some people may even think she's a little bossy, but I call that leadership. This student always has ideas we can do to improve the school, and you can find her helping teachers, office staff, and the soccer team whenever needed. She is a great asset to everything we have going on at Royal Live Oaks Academy. This year, she represented our school by serving as one of our representatives for the Hardyville Youth Council, where she worked with the city of Hardyville to make the town a better place. It is my great pleasure to present this award today to Ms. Nayeli Sanchez. You want to say anything?
Congratulations, class of COVID 2020. Charles Dickens wrote in The Tale of Two Cities, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." The long wait for the new campus ended in January. It was the best of times, only to be closed in March due to COVID-19. It was the worst of times. For the class of 2020, you have endured the most heart-wrenching end to your education at Royal Live Oaks Academy. But we learn life's lessons in many ways, and the past few months have given you a crash course in the school of hard knocks. You have learned that life can deal a hard blow when you are enjoying the best of times. You have learned how to adjust when forced to live a new normal, like homeschooling. You have learned to accept disappointment when you miss a highly anticipated part of your life. You have learned that life is fragile and that death can appear suddenly and cruelly, as in a pandemic. You have learned that family and friends are most important in the worst of times, like the friends you made at Royal Live Oaks Academy. You are about to enter an important stage of your lives. It will be a time when you need to apply the lessons you learned in the classrooms and the lessons you learned outside the campus of Royal Live Oaks Academy. including those of the past few months. How well you use them will help determine how long you live in the best of times or how long you live in the worst of times. Believe me, you will experience both many times over because life is a topsy-turvy ride of these ups and downs. Face them as you have done in these months of Coronaville. Adapt with courage and determination. Your time at Royal Live Oaks Academy has prepared you for all challenges. I'd like to thank two special students who participated in the Hardyville Youth Council, Miss Nayli Sanchez and Sadie O'Connor, who were instrumental in the organizing and managing the Easter Food Drive. This initiative took on special meaning this spring as people lost their jobs and families were faced with a new challenge for economic survival. The food banks served 4 times the family members after March 12th, and they were able to meet this need in part because Nayli and Sadie understood the meaning of neighbors helping neighbors in the worst of times. On behalf of the Hardyville City Council, we wish you happiness in the best of times and strength in the worst of times. For sure, no one will ever forget the class of 2020.
Good evening. It is my honor to be able to address you, the 2020 graduates of Royal Live Oaks Academy. On behalf of the Charter Institute at Erskine, the Board of Directors, and Erskine College, let me be the first to say congratulations. Each of you are here today because you have earned the right through years of hard work and perseverance to receive this high school diploma. As exciting as this day is, you undoubtedly never imagined that your graduation would occur during such unusual global circumstances. None of us walked through the school door at the beginning of this year with any inclination that the end of that same year would culminate in a virtual, not an actual walk across the graduation stage. The traditions and activities of all of our lives have radically, but temporarily, changed. While the changes we are all facing may seem unique, it is helpful to recall that throughout all of recorded history, there have been large-scale health crises that have impacted cities, nations, empires, and even the entire world. There have always been events similar to COVID-19, and there always will be as long as the earth remains. The question then is not, will there be more events, but rather, how will we grow in the face of challenges brought by events like COVID-19? Just over 100 years ago, a span of time that is much more recent than it seems at your age, another invisible plague spread around the world. Like the novel coronavirus, the Spanish flu of 1918 rapidly infected millions of people. However, this plague was not met with modern and sophisticated medical technologies, expansive medical infrastructure, or modern pandemic mitigation measures. During that generation, the only effective countermeasure against the illness was to isolate the sick and for the healthy to avoid exposure as best possible. However, despite their best efforts, an astonishing 195,000 Americans succumbed to the illness in a single month in 1918. In the end, nearly 700,000 Americans would lose their lives to this invisible enemy. Because of the Spanish flu, 1918 would become the only year in the American 20th century to experience negative population growth, a century that saw the 2 bloodiest wars in world history. Even the massive and evil armies of Socialist Germany and Imperial Japan could not compete with the lethality of the Spanish flu. Yet despite the carnage wrought by the Spanish flu, the preponderance of Americans were never infected, or if they were infected, they fully recovered. However, the surviving majority was changed as a result of living through the global flu pandemic. For some, their response was to be fearful. For others, life eventually returned to normal, and memories of the Spanish flu faded. But for a few, the events surrounding the Spanish flu of 1918 caused them to examine the world and their own lives. This examination would ultimately change their very destinies. One of these exceptional young Americans was a 16-year-old boy who contracted a severe case of the Spanish flu and would be hospitalized as a result in 1918. He ultimately recovered and attended Stanford University after high school. A mere 10 years later, John Steinbeck would publish his first novel and pen such great American classics such as The Grapes of Wrath and Of Mice and Men. Steinbeck even received the famed Pulitzer Prize as well as the National Book Award, thus establishing his place as a pillar and an icon of American literature. Another one of these few young visionaries was a young woman who contracted the Spanish flu while serving in the military as a wartime nurse during World War I. 2 years after her recovery, she attended an aerial competition with her father and was inspired to sign up for flying lessons. Once bitten with the flying bug, she purchased her own plane, an almost unheard of feat in that day, and set off to challenge the conventional wisdom about what a woman could do. Ultimately, Amelia Earhart would go on to set several world altitude records and to become the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean alone. Lastly, we recall a high school boy who was as gifted at drawing cartoons on his notebooks as he was at completing his algebra assignments. He would serve his country by joining the Red Cross Ambulance Corps in 1918. It was during this service that he contracted the Spanish flu while serving in Chicago. Several years later, working in a poultry shed, the young man started an animation studio in his own backyard. Walt Disney would later sketch a soon-to-be famous mouse while on a train en route to Kansas City. Today, Walt Disney's creations are among the most recognizable characters on the planet, and 6 countries worldwide have their own, quote, happiest place on earth, due to the genius, creativity, and most importantly, hard work of Walt Disney. Despite coming of age in the midst of a global pandemic, these great American icons were not afraid to do things differently. They undoubtedly felt the same fear, uncertainty, and frustration that you have felt over the past few months. However, instead of succumbing to the challenges surrounding them, these Americans actually drew strength from the hardships of the Spanish flu pandemic, and they used it to motivate their desires and to animate their goals. Each of you have already challenged much of the conventional wisdom of your day by choosing to attend and to graduate from a charter school. Undoubtedly, some of you have even been with Royal Live Oaks Academy since it first opened. As the first class to graduate from the new campus, you have also witnessed your entire school persevere through challenging beginnings to arrive at a bright new future that will impact generations of families in your community. You will also be known as the class that graduated during one of the most impactful pandemics in modern history. It is likely that your own children will study this season in American history, and perhaps they will even study about it in the very building from which you are graduating today. Going forward, the question for each of you is, what will define the rest of your life? Will it be that you passed into young adulthood during the coronavirus panic? Or, like the great Americans who lived through the Spanish flu, will your life be defined by what you accomplish in spite of, or because of, the great pandemic of 2020? Each of you has the potential to shape your world and your generation. I believe in you, and I look forward to the day when my own children will read about the great things that the Royal Live Oaks Academy class of 2020 did to ignite the flames of creativity, innovation, and excellence in spite of the circumstances in their world. Congratulations, Knights, on a job well accomplished. Thank you, and may God bless you.
To the class of 2020 of Royal Live Oaks Academy. It's a time of tradition. Today you graduate. The diploma was your mission accomplished, so celebrate. When kindergarten started way back in 2008, even those times were tough. See, life's no piece of cake. At any rate, it's time to educate and set the record straight. Your power comes from what you have given and not from what you take. So, what is great about the class of 2020 that inspired a lot of people and touched countless many? There's plenty. We thought you were millennials, called you Generation Me. We worried about your self esteem and your resiliency. You're the last of an era, the beginning of Generation Z. You are the future of our nation, Royal Live Oaks Academy. You used to sing in the snow, let it go was all we heard. We gave you iPads for learning, and you mastered Angry Birds. You grew to use cell phones to make friends with words, and the constant content on social media constantly occurred. Posting around the clock, mastering Twitter, IG, and TikTok. Communicating with memes, emojis, and TED Talks. The fact that change is tradition shouldn't come as a shock. Let's make the best of this condition for your graduation walk. In times of change, some things don't change. They become bedrock. Now, please follow this advice. It's my rule of law. It didn't come from a book, but from my dear grandma. She taught me a lesson of change and living in a storm. This lesson is a fact. In fact, it's far from the norm. Some call it superstition, fantasy, or folklore. For my grandma, it was her religion from a time of yore. I remember this lesson learned one day I spent the night while my family feuded watching The Price is Right. Suddenly, a loud boom broke the sky. The thunder sounded like M80 firecrackers on the 4th of July. And the lightning was cutting the darkness like a samurai. We were terrified. All the grandchildren began to scream and shout. Grandma rushed from the kitchen because we were acting out. She said, "The storm has come, so hush and be still. Cut off the TV and lights. Don't move until this storm passes over. We shall kneel to God's will." Amazingly, it was during the storm that I actually tried to stop focusing on the external and focus inside. In that quiet, I found that I could not hide, that I knew not myself, but only my pride. See, I valued my clothes, shoes, and my friends. I wanted likes, a new car, and financial dividends. In that stillness, my wants were concealed by the dark. And for the first time, I could hear the voice of my heart. It said, boom, 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 boom. I am your true voice speaking since your time in the womb. I am the flower from the seed that has come to full bloom. I am those thoughts that you hear when you're alone in your room. I am the answer to whom will save you from doom. It was during the still of the storm that I knew the answer to the question, who are you? Grandma's lesson transformed me and made me anew. So be still in a storm as it passes through, to reveal the will of your heart and passion true. And be the person with passion that God made you into. To the class of 2020, this is what I'm foreseeing. You can't forever social distance a social being. So when we join again, we will join believing that value does not come from what we have, but from what we are leaving. Empower your heart and be a gift to our nation, the kind of gifts that Paul wrote in the book of Galatians. Give peace, give joy, give patience, give goodness and kindness, give gentleness and faithfulness. Give the gift that has come from above. The greatest graduation gift is for you to give love. Congratulations.
When I think of life when I was young, I will always think of thee. And I know as I move on and grow, my alma mater will live in me. Oh, royal knights, oh, royal knights, oh, how I love thee. Oh, royal knights, my alma mater lives in me.
Gustavo Altoe. Juan Carlos Avila Adame. Joshua Shamar Bennett. Kevin Daniel Shavaria. Ivan Sarai Deleon Alvarez. Graciela Dominguez. Janae Cameron Evans. Alasia Renee Galvin. Haley Jane Goddard. Holly Ann Goddard. Marilyn Mildred Gomez Paz. Nazir Ayana Graham. Nigel Dewan Grant. Eileen Judith Herrera. Denasia Latrice Hayward. Meredy Joanna Jimenez. Mark Jordan Lefebvre. Elquan O'Neill Lawrence. Emily Logan McKenzie. Patience Elaine Miller. Austin Brian Molnar. Ayana Patrice Moyd. Ashanti Zaira Murray. Omar Giovanni Nahara. Jadon Kaylon Nelson. Armando Nunez. Sadie Marie O'Connor. Daniela Nicole Pacina Baeza. Damaris Ramos Guzman. Terrell Lavalas Riddles Jr. Demetrius Devon Riley. Hector Rogel Lorenzo. Arturo Rosas de la Cruz. Nayeli Sanchez. Shelton Andrew Schwannebeck. Jean-Quan So. Brian Jesse Skeeters. Christian Antoinette Taylor. Ellen Torres. Yasmin Guadalupe Tunches Franco. Eugenio Turubiertes. Christian Grace Wade. Christina Treasure Wade. Ramajane Watson.
On behalf of the Royal Live Oaks Academy of the Arts and Sciences Charter School Board, I, as the Executive Director, certify that these are our graduates for 2020, that they have fulfilled all requirements. I present to you the Royal Live Oaks Class of 2020. Graduates, you may now move your tassel from the right to the left.
Congratulations, class of 2020. Woo!
Class of 2020, this is Mr. Dow. You did okay. I want to wish you luck in the future and do an awesome job. And there's always a motto, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good gets better, your better gets best. And so you should always strive to be your best.
Hey seniors, congratulations and good luck.
Congratulations! I'm so happy for you guys. I can't wait to see where the next chapter of your life takes you. I'm gonna miss you so much. Best of luck.
Congratulations, class of 2020. I wish you guys much success in your future endeavors.
Seniors, we met 6 years ago and here we are where we are at this point. Congratulations. Continue to do well.
Hey, graduates, congratulations. It's been a journey, but I just want to encourage you guys to stay strong. I know it's not the best of year, but I thank you so much for hanging tight and all the best, and I wish you the richest blessing. God bless.
Hey, class of 2020, we just want to say congratulations, and I hope y'all have a successful life after this. Thank you from Ms. Dunham. I love y'all. Bye.
To the Royal Live Oaks class of 2020, congratulations. We are very proud of you. We hope that we never have to see you again. We are so tired of all of you, but we love you to death. You can always come back and holler at me and the rest of the teachers around here. We love you. Have a lovely summer. Go to school. Stay in school. Get some more degrees, more education, make more money. See y'all later.
We are Royal Knights.
We are Royal Knights. Unite strong.
We are Royal Knights.
We are Royal Knights.
We are Royal Knights.
We are the Royal Knights.
We are Royal Knights.
We are Royal Knights.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. Remember to dream big, go hard. Let's go, Royal Knights.